Mr. Kanran, first of all, what do you think about the situation of bad debts in Vietnam economy?
Well, it's an issue that's been discussed a lot in the policy circles and in the press. Uh, I think it's fair to say that the state of the banking system is not entirely healthy at this point of time. There are a lot of concerns which have been expressed in the past also about the balance sheets of the banks, how strong they are, the amount of non-performing loans that they have. As the economy slows down, there might be more non-performing loans that are in the system. There is also a lot of concern about the real amount of non-performing loans in the system. We've had the State Bank of Vietnam tell us that the actual amount of non-performing loans in the system might be higher or actually is higher than what the banks have been reporting. So a lot of these issues are raising concerns about the health of the banking system. These uncertainties cause uncertainty in financial markets in general. They've led to some concerns in the stock market. So overall, I think it's a situation that needs to be improved and it needs to be addressed quickly.
So, what do you think are the main reasons and sources for this situation, and what can be the potential risk?
Well, I think for that one needs to go back a little bit into the past to understand where the problems of the banking system arise from. As you know, these are balance sheet problems that accumulate over a period of time. We've seen in Vietnam over the last several years that credit growth was very, very strong at levels which cannot be sustained. And when credit growth takes place at such high rates, the lending standards tend to be weak. It also shows that perhaps the corporate governance in these banks was not as strong. We've heard that there are problems in terms of connected lending, that people who know the banks well manage to get large amounts of loans and without full clarity as to what the purpose of these loans might be. And besides that, a lot of these loans went into the real estate sector. And as the economy has slowed down and as real estate prices have begun to come down, the value of the collateral against which these loans are made has been coming down as well. Now that requires that the banks have to take another look at their entire balance sheet and mark down the value of the loans. Also, I think one of the important reasons, and this is something that has been acknowledged by the SPV itself, is that banking supervision or supervision of the banking system might not have been very strong for a number of reasons. So there are problems in the banks. Credit growth was very fast, monetary policy was loose, and also there is a contribution from weak supervision over the banking system. All of these things are some of the main reasons. In terms of the potential going forward, as I said, continued problems in the banking system mean that it cannot provide a good amount of financial intermediation to the economy, which is required for the economy to grow. The non-performing loans are a drag on the economy. If the banks have non-performing loans, very simply, the money is not coming back into the bank to be recirculated to the economy. So non-performing loans and problems in the banking system constrain the potential of the economy to grow going forward. They also lead to a lot of uncertainty in the economy, which again is not very good for decision making with regards to investment or consumption or people's confidence in the dong.
What do you think about Vietnam's government's policies relating to bad debt situation?
First of all, I think one important thing to keep in mind is that there is now an acceptance that the problem in the banking system is larger. And that's important because once you recognize the true size of the problem in the banking system, the size of the solution to the problem becomes clearer. In addition to that, what is very important is that the government of Vietnam has put together a long-term program for reform of the banking system. But that plan is over a long term. It needs to be converted into short-term action plans as to what needs to be done in the next 6 months, what needs to be done in the next 1 year. Decisions have to be made quickly. Action has to be taken quickly. The impact of some of these decisions and actions is something that takes time. And because these things take some time to become operative, the decision and the actions need to be taken quickly, and concrete actions need to be taken. So some steps have been taken by the government, a lot of plans, but I think a lot more remains to be done to solve the problems of the banking system.
Recently, Vietnam has proposed to participate in the FSAP program of IMF and World Bank. So can you explain about the benefits and the requirements of this program?
Well, the FSAP is the Financial Sector Assessment Program. It's a joint program of the World Bank and the IMF. It is essentially in the nature of a technical assistance program. The country authorities who make a decision, it's a voluntary decision. A country can decide or not decide to be a part of this exercise. And once a country has decided to become a part of this exercise, we usually take it as a good sign. It's a good sign the country is interested in understanding the problems that it's facing in the financial sector. So it's a technical assistance program. It sort of provides an assessment of the state of the financial sector. It's voluntary, and it covers a whole range of issues, not just the banking system. So teams from the IMF and the World Bank have already been here and have talked to the State Bank of Vietnam. We've talked to the Ministry of Finance. We've talked to the State Securities Commission to understand what the nature of the financial system is and how much of the financial system we want to cover in Vietnam to provide that assessment. It is a program that many countries have participated in, including China, Japan, the United States, a number of other countries in Asia, Thailand. So Vietnam is not alone in participating in this program. And in terms of the benefits and the components of the program, it covers the entire financial sector. So we look at banking, insurance, we look at capital markets, bond markets. And the idea is not just to look at the balance sheet of the banks, but to look at the supervisory framework. What is the framework for conducting banking or financial sector activity in the country? To identify where the gaps are, where the shortcomings are, and where Vietnam needs to make an effort to reach international standards. It also tries to give advice on the banking supervision framework, the regulatory framework, and also on the kind of corporate governance that is required in the banks. So generally improving the quality of the balance sheets, but also the environment in which banking or financial sector activity takes place in Vietnam, both from the perspective of the central bank and from the perspective of the corporates. It also has an important component of looking at the state-owned enterprise sector, because at the end of the day, in the case of Vietnam, the state-owned enterprise sector is an important borrower from the banking system, and we're very happy that Vietnam has decided to participate in this program, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.